Okay, in today's video we're going to look at how to create a revision presentation. So you can either use Keynote or you could use PowerPoint depending on what you're working on. So your first step is very easy, which is to just create a title page. I've just put biology revision. You might want to put a picture on or you might just want to keep it simple. I don't really mind. Okay, so you might be covering lots of topics or you might just be covering one topic. Either way, you need to start by choosing a content page. I always like to have a picture as well on my page because it really does help us with memory, and there are lots of useful pictures in science. So I'm starting with a page on the topic nutrition, and I've decided that enzymes is something that I really need to go over. And I'd highly recommend that all of you choose to go over enzymes too. So I'm now going to go to my summary notes, which you can find on Shobi, and I'm going to download the PDF, and then I'm going to find some information on enzymes. So I'm going to flip through until I get to nutrition, and once I've found nutrition, I'll see if I can find anything about enzymes that I can use on my page. Okay, I'm actually going to start by getting my picture. Now that I've found the information, I'm going to get a picture that I want to use because, again, it's going to help me with thinking about what I'm writing. So I've just typed into Google enzymes, and then I'm going to have a look through until I find a diagram that I really like the look of, one that I think is going to be useful in helping me with understanding enzymes and remembering what I need to know. So once I've chosen a picture, I obviously just need to save it in my images, and then I can embed it into my first page. Okay, so now I have my picture, it's time to start filling in the information that I want. So there's not a huge amount of information on enzymes when I look in my summary notes, and sometimes the summary notes have everything that you need to know, and sometimes they just have a very short piece of information, and that's because obviously they are summary notes. They're not telling me every single thing that I learnt, because then they'd be the length of a book. So what I can do is I can go to my booklet, because if you remember I told you to keep hold of all of your booklets, and I can go open the nutrition booklet, I can go to the pages on enzymes, and I can add in any extra details that I might need for enzymes. Once I am happy with all of my details, I obviously just type everything in. Don't copy this page because I've actually made a mistake. I can see there I've written carbohydrates are broken down by carbohydrate. Should obviously say carbohydrates. So you need to do your own, obviously, researching using the summary notes and using the booklets. If there are any booklets that you have lost, I'm actually going to put a folder up with all of the booklets in, just because I think that that might be helpful to you. So do check on Shobi if there are any booklets you have lost. They will all be there for you. So let's add our second page. So I've completed my page on enzymes. I'm going to go on to complete another page. So I'm still sticking with nutrition because obviously I haven't by any means covered everything I need to know about. So this time I'm going to do a page about food groups. So now I need to add a picture. I always like to start with adding my picture first, and I'm going to look at here how you need to be careful with what you type in. So I've just typed in food groups into Google Images, and I'm going to click on the first image that's come up, and if I zoom in you can see that this has only got 5 food groups, and 2 of them, fruit and veg and then dairy, you can see those are not food groups in science. Those are probably sort of ones that maybe a chef would use or a nutritionist. So when we talk about food groups in science, we have 7 food groups and they have different names. So I'm going to add the word science on there just to make sure I'm getting the right thing. And then you can see here, this is now the right food group, so proteins, vitamins, minerals, fibre and so on. So I've got a range of pictures that I could use. I've decided on this one, so I'm going to again save the image so that I can then insert it into my second page. Okay, so once again, I now need the information for this page. So again, I'm going to remember to use the summary notes as guidance of what I'm going to write. and I also might want more detail, so I might go back to the actual nutrition booklet if I want more detail, or I could also use the internet. Do be careful when you're Googling things though, because there are lots of different curriculums for different schools, so you don't want to end up having the wrong information. So it probably is best to keep to the booklets unless you have lost yours. Once you have finished all of the pages for a particular topic, it's time to create a quiz page. So I'm going to call mine nutrition quiz because I've been obviously doing about nutrition. Now I only did 2 pages as an example, but you would obviously do more than 2 pages. So go back to the first page that you did on nutrition, have a look at the information, and then write a few questions based on that information. So there's no specific number of questions that I would recommend, but what you want to do is have at least a couple of questions on each page. Stick to questions about the content of the pages that you've done, because then you can easily find the answers if you do forget. So I've written 6 questions because I only did 2 pages, but you may well end up needing 1 or 2 pages for your quiz because you might need to have more questions than I have. Now, the really good thing about having a quiz page is that when you come back to revise in the future, instead of going through all the content again, all the content pages, you can go straight to the quiz page and question yourself. If you answer everything with ease, it gives you a good indication that you know that content and you can move on to a different topic. If, however, you really struggle, it does show you that you have forgotten a lot of the stuff and you need to go over it. You could even get your sibling or your parent to test you. You could even test your friends by sending them a photograph of your quiz page and vice versa. Once you've completed your quiz page, you can then move on to the next topic that you would like to revise. So I'm going to do respiration next, and I'm going to go through the same process of doing a content page or content pages, as many as I need to do. Some topics you will have far less pages, or far fewer pages rather, than other topics, because some topics are longer than others, and that's absolutely fine. So just do the number of pages that you need per topic and then end it all with a quiz. And that is how to create a revision keynote presentation or PowerPoint presentation.